49er mind is
It's not just a thought process, but a way of life.
49er mind. 49er mind.
Can't shake it. It's 49er mind that I got. It's 49er shine that I got. My psyche's on another Frisco Super Bowl. Don't sit slow, cause here we go with a super show. A red and gold session. I thought I read a gold obsession. With some well-controlled expressions. Let's talk about that win that we got. Who should have been in the spot? That's how it's been in the spot. Let's all that back, all that crack, all that strip fumble sack. Or just dial it on up if you wanna talk smack. It don't matter what the storyline, as long as the story aligns with a 49er mind.
49er mind.
It's not just a thought process,
49er mind,
but a way of life. For sure.
49er mind.
Way of life.
49er mind.
What is up, everybody? We had to restart the stream and do a whole new one. There was a setting that was selected, and then that totally wiped out the whole chat. And I don't want the chat wiped out. I want my viewers to interact. So here we are. I'm right here with my boy Eric, who you may know as Bay Area Baller 18. How you doing, bro?
Feeling good. Glad to be here to talk to you. I know we touched on the Warriors a little bit, in the previous stream. Warriors played a good brand of basketball tonight. The Splash Brothers went off, combined for 66 points. It was good to see. Kuminga's really been looking good the last week or so. And those are my quick Warriors thoughts. But hey, we know what channel this is, 49er Minded. By the way, I got to say, I love that intro, Bashar. That intro is fire. And I'm glad to talk some ball with you tonight.
Yeah, that intro was brought to you by 49er Dude. He's a diehard 49er fan from LA, Los Angeles, and been on the show a few times. Great guy. Finally got to meet the guy over in September. Let me say what's up to some people who've been waiting patiently. We had to start a second stream, so we got it going right now. The chat is working. I see you guys. We got Warowski, who's a YouTube 49er legend. If you don't remember him, check him out from back in there. I don't know if he's still going to make 49er videos at any point in time. You never know. He may surprise you. He says, tomorrow Brady passes the torch to Brock Purdy. Okay, that's what he's saying. Joey Jenkins says that would be great. I'm in here. What am I doing there? We got Niner Sickness from Niner Sickness Podcast. What's up, bro? We got Ted Talks Ball, says Jesse Bosa. Gina repping the Bay. Check out her channels. A few of these people are content creators, actually. So Gina, Niner Sickness, Ted Talks Ball. Definitely check them out. Appreciate you guys. Yo, 49er Dude, man. We got him. That's the guy who did the theme song for 49er Minded. He actually performed it live recently. There's a video of it on my Instagram. You want to check out my Instagram, check out my Twitter. Just type in 49er Minded. I'm very easy to find on social media if you have any questions or any comments. I appreciate you guys. And there's a 49er Minded Facebook group. You want to hit up Eric, Bay Area Baller 18, the description for his YouTube channels in the description box of this video. And then his Twitter handle's right there at Bay Area Baller 18. Really easy. A little bit about the Warriors really quick. It was nice to see Curry just sitting at three-point land with so much confidence that just shooting it up where it wasn't even forced, and it was good. Jordan Poole was doing his thing. I saw DiVincenzo as a distributor just setting people up and stealing the ball and setting up. Just the up-tempo feel of the game was something I really, really like to see. And it's always good when my Warriors win going into a 49er game, which is against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And we're obviously excited for this game. Gonna say what's up to Randy Daytona. Where is he at? Randy Daytona says, hola. Always good to have you in the chat, bro. The Sentinels here says, what's good? Yeah, so it's a little bit of a late night thing. I know there's not much, for Niner stuff probably going on at this hour. So it's good to have you guys here. We got Wally, says Bang Bang Niner Gang. What up, Kylie Young says, what's up, Faithful lives on the East Coast. Oh, it's already midnight for you, man. But hey, man, it's a game night. When it's game night, sometimes you tend not to sleep as early as you want to because you're probably researching things about the upcoming game and seeing who's going to play, who's injured, all that. Do we see Nick Bosa tomorrow, Eric? What do you think about that?
Hamstrings, I don't like to mess with hammies, Bashar. If you right now, maybe there's a slight tweak. And if you go out and you really strain it, then you could miss a month of game action. Hamstrings are an injury I don't want to mess with. So if there's any, increased chance of aggravation, I'm giving him the week off. That's me personally. right? The 49ers are on a 5-game win streak. We've been playing a good brand of football. And the Bucks have been struggling on offense. We know the offensive line is subpar, right? So that being said, no, I think Bosa, we should probably rest him, give him the week off, unless he's feeling good. If he's at 90, 95%, all right, Bosa, go at it. But if he's 70%, hamstring is not an injury that I want him to play through.
My bad, my mic was muted. I was going to say about Bosa. Larry Krueger had brought this up previously during the week on one of his shows, and he made a great point about it. It's like, and if you look at Bosa, it's almost a no brainer if you just look at his body composition. He's got these huge, like bulky legs. It's not like say some skinny, rinky dinky wide receiver or DB out there with a hamstring pull. Now, trust me, I really, really want to see Bosa out there because I know I want to see us sack the quarterback, and I know that increases our chances. But again, that's the fan in me. That's the fan in me. But the logical side, hey, let's not rush it. Let's play it safe, or only have him out there unless the doctors give an amazing blessing of some sort. So we'll see. Definitely see how that plays out. So what do we got? Randy Daytona says the content creators need to organize so we have better content at least 14 hours a day. I think we're getting there. I think we're almost there. I mean, it's crazy. Every time I just see my phone, there's some type of notification. Ladies and gentlemen, we have a very special guest in the chat. John Lynch says, "What's good?" And you can't say what's good unless you have Jay in the Bay here. The guy, nobody says what's good more than Jay in the Bay. So good to have. There he is. He's saying what's good right there. There he is right there. Jay in the Bay, always good to have you around. Check out his channel without a doubt. Yeah, I mean, I'm all about the pass rush. I mean, does Drake Jackson step it up if Bosa's not out there? Does Samson Ebukam step it up? We have, there's a lot of questions about that if Bosa doesn't play him. Do we blitz more? I'm not sure. I mean, Brady's good at eyeing the blitz. I'm not sure. I haven't followed him too much this year in game by game, but I noticed in general his play has dropped off a bit. But I don't know if you want to pick your poison in that desire where you're just blitzing a lot on Brady, unless you mix it up and disguise certain coverages. I don't know how they're going to do it. But.
Yeah, I would not blitz Brady a ton. That's one of Brady's best attributes is recognizing the blitz and exploiting it, getting the ball out quick, to open receivers in the slot or, on a go ball to Mike Evans, which I know Mike had, he had 3 touchdowns the first 2 weeks. And then since then he's cooled off. Right. But Mike Evans is still a big time threat. What I've seen a lot of the Bucks, to be honest, they've had a lot of primetime games, and the Bucks got this quick passing offense. The offensive line isn't good. Right. They got a lot of issues. So they're counteracting that with a quick passing game. They throw a ton of balls to Chris Godwin, like bubble screens, tunnel screens, the little quick stuff. They try to get yards after the catch. That's why one of my biggest keys to the game for the Niners is to tackle well, because Brady's going to be getting the ball out quick to some of these, weapons. Julio still has some juice. He doesn't play a ton of snaps, but he's played the last couple weeks, and I've seen him out there, watching Red Zone or whatever, and he's making some plays. So Julio is still a threat. Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, they got some weapons, and Brady's going to get – so I wouldn't blitz him a ton. I think you want to rush 4. You try to get through with 4. But you mix in a blitz. D'Amico likes to blitz on 3rd down. I feel like D'Amico doesn't blitz a ton, but when he does, it's in, like, key 3rd down situations. So I would still do that. But you don't go into the game saying, oh, we're gonna blitz the hell out of Brady. I don't think that's the mindset you have.
Yeah. And on top of that, Brady's been throwing a lot of short stuff this year too, more so than other years. He's not going deep. I mean, Brady gets rid of the ball really, really quick at an alarming rate. I mean, we're talking he gets rid of the ball. It's actually 56% of his passes are actually thrown under 2.5 seconds. And the 49ers defense, we don't not necessarily big time game stoppers against quarterbacks that throw under 2.5 seconds. We're like at a 94 passer rating when a quarterback throws under 2.5 seconds. So we could do a little better in that regard. Definitely. We always had to worry about Mike Evans, of course. That guy's just a big boy, not the fastest guy, but he knows how to get open. I loved him so much as a player coming out of college, and he's amazing on Tampa Bay. I always wanted him to be a 49er, but he's on that team. We got to worry about him. Definitely. I guess Mooney
Yeah, I
Ward's going
know.
to be guarding him.
Yeah. In hindsight, because I like Johnny Manziel, but actually now in hindsight, I'm thinking Mike Evans made Johnny Manziel look way better than he actually was, because Johnny would just run around and then throw it like 50 yards downfield, like jump ball to Mike. And I'm thinking, oh, Johnny football, right? But really,
So you kind of doubted Evans coming into the NFL or something? Because I thought he was going to be
no,
pretty good
no,
right
I
off the bat.
no, I didn't doubt Mike Evans, but it was just more so I really like Johnny football. I thought he was going to be a good quarterback, and obviously I was wrong about that, dead wrong.
The embarrassing thing about the whole Johnny Manziel is, as bad as an NFL player he was, is when we lost to him one time when he was on the Browns. I don't know if you remember that. A lot of 49er fans may have forgotten that. But I was just texting my friends back.
I think I tried to put that one out of my memory.
That was not a fun game to watch. Yeah, I tend to remember the bad games sometimes. It's not good. But hey, last week was a good game though. I mean, here comes, so we have Jimmy G in the mix and he's playing and he's got a couple good throws and we get a field goal. And Miami brought the kitchen sink on us, and here comes Brock Purdy out of nowhere, and boom, we win. We play excellent. We play good enough defense to win, and make some amazing plays on defense. Obviously, we get that touchdown, and Brock Purdy just was really, really steady, man. He was really, really steady. He got Christian McCaffrey involved and spread the ball around pretty well.
I agree. Here's the thing, though, Bashar. On the play, Jimmy broke his foot. The Dolphins actually only rushed 4. They showed like 6 or 7 guys at the line, but they ended up dropping a couple back. So we had enough offensive linemen to pick up the pressure, right? But there was an unblocked guy coming off the left side. Debo, we had 2 backs in the backfield. And, Debo.
Wasn't Jalen Phillips on the tackle, though? Or?
That was from the opposite side. That was on
the
Lynchy side, but there was a free rusher coming off the left side.
I think it was Chubb on the other side, right?
Might have been, but there was anyway. So that's something I'm looking at this week. It's like we gotta eliminate the free rushers, or at least limit them. You're not gonna, maybe you won't eliminate them, but you don't want to give free shots at the quarterback. We did see Purdy make that nice throw to Kittle with another free rusher all up in his grill. And that's where I actually think playing the Dolphins last week and how the Dolphins played us, right? Blitzing a ton on third down, sending the dogs, as I would call it, sometimes they were showing 6 or 7 guys at the line and dropping a couple guys back. But I think that's going to aid us this week because Todd Bowles also likes to blitz a lot. So it's like Purdy got to see the blitz last week, and I'm expecting Todd Bowles to do something similar, although Todd might be this dude, Todd Bowles, is one of the most respected defensive minds in the game.
Yeah, I was gonna say he likes to blitz and he knows how to disguise blitzes, and
yes,
it's not gonna be easy. Gina says, hit the like button, y'all. Really, really appreciate it. If you're not subscribed to this channel, if you're a regular viewer and you just type my name up just to watch me, I appreciate that. But helps us a whole lot as content creators to subscribe to the channel. 50% of my viewers probably are loyal viewers, but they're not subscribed. So definitely hit that like button, subscribe. We got Elias Lopez. He says, what's up, Bash? Long time no talk. Let's go Niners. Let's go Warriors. That's right. Great point by Warowski over here. We just need McGlinchey to block somebody. Yeah, that'd be a good idea, wouldn't it?
No doubt.
You had your PFF grades up on the screen. I guess you have full access to PFF, and we were kind of talking about McGlinchey and obviously protection for the quarterback. You were talking about our offensive line, and we just mentioned the blitz right there. I mean, Devin White likes to blitz a lot.
Yeah.
Vita Vea is amazing up the middle. He's got 6.5 sacks. He leads their team in sacks. So it's not going to be easy against this team. Even though we got Brock Purdy and looked pretty good the last game. I mean, who knows? He might get rattled this game and look like a rookie. We don't know.
Yeah, and I like to say the 49ers have the best linebacking core in the NFL. When you're talking Fred Warner, Drake Greenlaw has been big time, and Azeez Al-Shaair, I think this guy could be a number 1 linebacker on a lot of teams, and he's our 3rd guy. But the Bucs on the other side, I feel like they have probably the 2nd best linebacker core in the NFL right behind us. When you're talking Devin White, Levante David, like you said, Devin White's more of the guy who can blitz. The dude's got crazy speed, acceleration. He's sideline to sideline. His coverage is maybe so-so, but that's where you got Levante David the other linebacker for the Bucks, he's probably, in my opinion, the second best coverage linebacker in the NFL, right behind Fred Warner. Fred Warner's just so good in zone coverage. When he drops back, a lot of these linebackers are covering grass when they're in zone coverage. But Fred, you see Fred just kind of look around and pick up all the routes come in his direction, jump a route, get a pick or a pass breakup. And that's where Fred is like, he's a defensive back and a linebacker in one guy.
Who were they trying to throw to a little deep over the middle? It might have been Jalen Waddle. And it looked like it may have been a completed pass. But at the very end, Fred Warner just jumps up in space in the zone and tips it. I've seen him do that a few times, actually.
Yeah, he's so good at that.
Yep, he's very good at that. Just you think that nobody's anywhere near the receiver, and then this guy, Fred Warner, just jumps up, boom, the ball's completely out of play. Gotta love it. We got 49ers first takes. Aaron says up late, just gotta stop in and say, hey, he's over in New York, by the way. So we appreciate you. We got 49er dude says, I gotta go, Bashar. I'm at work. Glad I was able to pop in and say what's up. Hit that like, everybody. Hit the like for my guy. Let's go,
Niners.
That's
a great intro. That's a great intro.
He's been on the show before. He's been on the show a few times. Awesome guy. It's this is. I mean, I'm pretty sure the media really, really felt. All the big networks. NFL Network and all these networks who hype up the games week in and week out. And obviously, I think pretty sure the game's gonna be on Fox. And everybody's wanted to see this. I mean, for a long time, there was a certain energy in this so-called matchup that we were possibly going to see. And now it's just like completely gone. I mean, the whole Tom Brady versus Jimmy G, student versus teacher type of deal. That matchup was going to be there, was going to be all over the headlines, and the student beats the teacher beats the student. So we're not even going to see that now. It's kind of sad for those who kind of had that matchup in their mind, but I
think there's still kind of that narrative though, with the late round picks, the GOAT, the 6th round pick versus Brock Purdy,
Mr. Irrelevant.
So I think there's still some of that narrative that the media will kind of twist around and have some fun with. But it's going to
probably flash some comparative stats and flash some graphics on the screen and all this stuff. And Brock Purdy was this old when Tom Brady did this and blah, 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 blah. So it's just going to be super, super interesting to see what happens. So the Tampa Bay running game, did you have any thoughts about the two running backs and what we got to do to stop them?
I mean, this is a rushing offense that is not good. They rank towards the bottom, if not they're at the bottom in terms of rushing yards and efficiency. Brady, he likes to throw it to the backs, but in terms of running the rock, it is going to be, the forecast is some rain tomorrow, Bashar. I don't think it doesn't sound like it's going to be like a heavy downpour, but I'm seeing some rain the last time I checked over in Santa Clara. And that usually leads to more of a rushing style of a game. Although if it's light rain, then that's not really going to affect the pass too much, in my opinion. But when we're talking Bucks rushing game, we know they got Rachaad White, they got Leonard Fournette, who missed a couple weeks not too long ago, but he's back from his injury. And watching the Bucks, I feel like Rachaad White probably has some more juice than Fournette. Fournette's looked kind of sluggish, in my opinion. But I don't fear this Bucks rushing game.
But like you mentioned earlier, Fournette's a big boy. You mentioned how we gotta tackle people, and more so in the passing game. You were mentioning it, but you always got to tackle Fournette though.
Always, you got to get multiple guys. You got to get 2-3 guys running at him to bring him down. Because while Deommodore Lenoir, I know I see some fans kind of criticizing him on Twitter and whatnot. But one thing, Demo and Charvarius Ward, to both their credit, they stick their nose in there in the run game. I see these guys making plays in the run. And they're going to need that, because you got to send multiple guys when you're trying to tackle Fournette. That's a big dude, right? And just everyone get in there, bring them down.
Yeah, let's talk about the 49ers and offense a little bit, because I know it's like we've been wanting to get our run game going for a bit, and there's times where we try to run like CMC up the middle, Christian McCaffrey up the middle, and then it's not successful. And what sucks is that we're Vita Vea is just a load in the middle, and he's going to be going up against Brendel. I totally see CMC winning that matchup for the majority of the day. I mean, I hope they prove me wrong. But I mean, what are we going to do with the whole run game? I mean, a lot of Niner fans are dying to see more of Jordan Mason. It's interesting about Jordan Mason though, because when I was reading his like height and weight posted on the website on 49ers.com, and it would always say like something like 220 or 6'1", 220. Larry Krueger the other day was saying that he's between 235 pounds and 240 pounds. I don't know if he bulked up recently or something, but that's definitely a load. And now I'm hearing the
He
Marshawn
looks
Lynch
strong.
Yeah, he definitely looks strong. Definitely does. I hear the Marshawn Lynch comparisons, which I think is a little, it's just too much. I think right now,
It's a
but
little premature.
yeah, it's definitely premature. But he looks good though. I like it, and sure, why not? Why not give him more carries? And it looks like these teams that totally love, whether it be Jimmy or probably more so Brock because of his inexperience, but these teams just love to just sell out on the run on first down so much, sell out on the run, stack the box. Where's the play action? Let's see some play action shots down the field on first down. Why not?
And they ran some play action with Purdy last week, and they were doing some naked bootlegs, right? And that means on naked boots, a lot of times there's an unblocked defender, but you're hoping he's going to go after the running back. But a couple times Purdy, the defenders read the play action well, and they were kind of getting in Purdy's face. And you saw Purdy make a guy miss, make a throw on the run. That was really impressive what I saw from Brock. Not only the way he can get the ball out quick and accurate for the most part, it wasn't a ton of downfield stuff, right? It was a lot of short, intermediate passing game and behind the line of scrimmage stuff, which Jimmy does the same stuff. And if you feel like Brock can execute the same kind of game plan that we've had with Jimmy over the last, 4 years.
And there's a few things like I've been researching things like this over the past few weeks, how we can exploit certain teams, and sometimes we do and sometimes we don't. But like for example, Tampa Bay is not good at stopping running backs in the passing game. They're just not. All year long, they've given up a 1.27 passer rating against running backs out of the backfield. So I mean, we have the perfect running back out of the backfield in McCaffrey. I mean, I'd love to see why not exploit that? But even more so than that, I mean, Kittle hasn't really been that productive over the past few games. The past 2 games, he's only had basically he's had less than 30 yards over the past 2 games for each particular game. And this Tampa Bay team does not stop tight ends. I mean, they gave up like a 108.5 rating against tight ends. I mean, you mentioned that they got good linebackers, and they do have a very good linebacking core, but for some reason, tight ends have been having their way against this defense. And why not exploit that? Let's see George Kittle run wild.
Hey, I'm with you there. If you're telling me that, then yeah, let's get Kittle involved. I feel like Kittle, he's been chipping a lot, which tends to slow down, how you get into your route, and you're not going to be running downfield routes, right? If you're, chipping a 280-pound defensive lineman. I feel like that's kind of at least one of the reasons why his production has dipped, or kind of all season. It's really been fluctuating. Like he'll have a big game, right? And in the next week, it's 3 or 4 catches. But he's always a threat, right? You still see Kittle when he does catch that ball, man, he's still a load to take down. He's still fighting for yards. I still think Kittle's a big time player. And you're right. I hope he has a great game tomorrow, and we at least target him like 5, 6, 7 times.
Definitely, and let them know that we're trying to give them the ball. We got Thick Reaper. Welcome to the channel. Haven't seen you before. Good to have you on. Says Purdy just needs to play mistake free. He doesn't need to try to be the hero. Yeah, I'm okay with that. And he's pretty calm and steady. Oh, the biggest quality about his game that I like the most, and I hate to compare to Jimmy, but Jimmy's the guy we've had under center all year long, so it's only natural to make that comparison. At least in this only game that we've seen him in, not like we've seen him for multiple games, but they were blitzing like crazy. They threw the kitchen sink at him, but you never saw in his body language, or you never saw with his his gesture, the way he was carrying himself whenever the rush was coming his way. You never saw that scared look or that shaky look or that erratic look to him, or with his throws. Every now and then he misfired on throws, and I get that. Nobody has to be perfect, but he looked a bit calm when he was out there, and hopefully that carries on to tomorrow. I'd love to see that.
Yeah, Trent in an interview said you would never think that Purdy was a rookie and that he handles himself like a 15-year vet. This is coming from Trent Williams. Said he'll yell at guys like Purdy doesn't mess around, and that it's been talked about a lot. Starting 4 years will will help your progression. In terms of becoming a leader and commanding the huddle. I feel like Purdy can do all that.
And I
So
was going to ask you, I'm not sure which Tampa Bay Buccaneers tight end. We were talking about Kittle. I was just curious which out of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers focuses more so on the tight ends. I don't think it's Shaq Barrett. I'm not sure. Maybe you
no,
might have known that, but Ted Talks Ball brings up a great point. He says both Bucks are safeties are doubtful. That should help in play action. Yeah, it should. I mean, on paper, you think it would.
and Antoine Winfield, one of those safeties is big time. Antoine Winfield's a hell of a player. So if he's not out there, that will help. I know Winfield's been playing a lot in the slot. I've noticed they've been dropping him down, kind of similar to what the 49ers do, right? With Jimmy Ward being in the slot, the Bucks put Antoine Winfield, but he's sounds like he's going to be out. So absolutely, anytime you take a good player off the field, that's going to help the other team.
We were talking about the running backs earlier. Ted Talks Ball says, "Too bad we brought Tico up from the practice squad." I don't know. I like Tevin Coleman when he's been in there this year. Earlier this year, he was playing. I didn't mind him out there. He was running on the outside zone runs. Hopefully, as it in general in our running game, we do start doing more of the outside zone type runs. Okay. Ted Talks Ball said Shaq Barrett's on IR. It's good to know. Yeah. So I liked Coleman when he played, but at the same time, I'm also wondering why we activated Coleman and we're not going to activate Tyrion Davis Price. I'll just call him by his real name. Everybody calls him TDP, but yeah, I don't. That's a mystery to me. It's a bit of a head scratcher on that one. I thought they were going to try to activate him, and they did activate him, but last game, but they didn't give him any touches. And Dante Johnson, I know, is activated as well. I'm not sure why.
Yeah, I'm thinking, for Dante Johnson, it's just as that utility role. Dante, he can play some safety, he can play some nickel, he can play outside. Uh, so I think that was it with Dante. And for the TDP, I don't know what's going on there. Shanahan just wants to roll with the vet, is what I'm thinking. But if to be honest, I would rather see carries for McCaffrey and for Jordan Mason rather than Tevin Coleman. I want to see that 1-2 punch. I thought Jordan Mason looked really good last week against the Dolphins, averaged over 6 yards a carry. McCaffrey's looked pretty good running the ball. He's been phenomenal catching the ball out of the backfield. Running the ball, he's been pretty good. Like, I'm not going to say I feel like he's been great, but he said the same thing, Bashar. I don't know if you heard Forrester, the offensive line coach, come to the podium, but he said, last game, he's talking to the running backs, telling them they did a great job. And McCaffrey's like, I'm sorry, coach. I left a lot out there. I missed some holes. And he's holding himself accountable. So it's like, okay, McCaffrey, like, he's been pretty good, but even he knows there's another level that he can get to, right? He's still, he's played 4 games? He's suited up for 4 games for us, right? And some of these, the pictures, when you get a carry, it's all pictures, right? And our style of running isn't the same style that they ran in Carolina. So I'm thinking over the next, 2, 3, 4 weeks, he's going to keep getting better and better at spotting the hole and knowing where the cutback lane is. Speaking of the cutback lane, Jordan Mason had some sweet cutback runs where it looked like it was designed to go right, but he just sees the defense overplayed it that way, and he cut back left and gashed him for 15 yards. That's Jordan Mason, man. He's exciting to talk about because he's so decisive when he gets the ball, Bashar. They hand him the rock, and he's not tap dancing behind the line of scrimmage. He gets the rock, and he's getting upfield. He's hitting the hole, and he's hitting it hard.
Red Eye, welcome to the channel. You bring up a great point. I know it has nothing to do with this game necessarily, other than us playing the Tampa Bay Buccaneers with Tom Brady. But he said, remember when Kaepernick beat Brady in his prime in 2012? It was at the Patriots. They lost 41-38 at Foxborough Stadium. I believe it was a Monday night game. It was definitely a night game. That was a game to remember. It was a lot of fun. Remember, was it LaMichael James picked up some big kickoff return or something, and then Crabtree got like a 20 or 15-yard touchdown soon after. So that was definitely a fun game to watch. And hopefully we beat Brady again, albeit this time it's on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, not on the Patriots. And Brady grew up a 49er fan, right? He was at the catch game. So he's been to multiple 49er games as a child. Supposedly he's still mad at us for not drafting him. I don't know if he's really mad or not, but supposedly he tried to go back to the Niners. No, tried to go to the Niners after we had just went to the Super Bowl with Jimmy, and that didn't go well. What do you think? Do you think it's going to be a big, game where Brady's really really hyped up to show and prove and everybody, hey, you guys should have drafted me, or you guys should have signed me after you guys lost the Super Bowl?
I think Brady plays like that every week. I think Brady's always looking for something, some kind of edge, some kind of extra motivation. When you've been playing the game as long as Brady has, you look for something to give you some extra juice. And I imagine, I don't know, I haven't talked to Tom lately, but I imagine he's going to have a lot of family there. He's going to have a lot of friends there. I know his parents still live out, in the South Bay. So I think there is going to be some extra motivation for Tom. He's going to want to play well. And to be honest, he might want to play well. Here's a conspiracy theory, but he might want to play well because he might want to really end his career as a 49er. I don't know how much you want to get into that topic, but after this year, whatever happens, Tom Brady, he's a free agent. We know he was not a free agent this past offseason. The Bucs, had him under contract. We obviously know he retired briefly for like a month, came out of retirement. But he might want to, stick it to him. Yeah, you didn't draft me, but also you guys passed up on me. I wanted to come here a couple years ago and you guys shot me down. Well, screw you. I'm going to show you what I can do with this depleted offensive line. There is going to be some of that, Bashar.
I don't know how he swallows his pride and tries to come back to us after we had turned him up, apparently allegedly turned him down after the Super Bowl. So I know, we'll see. Red Eye says he was cut by Steve Mariucci and Bill Walsh, brought in 6 quarterbacks from competition. Brady got cut. I'm not sure about that. I'm not sure what he's saying, but I think I don't know about got cut, but that's just, I guess he's talking about when we showcase different quarterbacks before the draft. Who did we draft? Giovanni Carmazzi. Was that the draft that we drafted both Druckenmiller and Giovanni Carmazzi, or might have been a different draft? Yeah, it was. I know it was definitely Giovanni Carmazzi in that draft. I think it was. Who was the other guy? I'm forgetting his name. It was the backup quarterback that we had during the TO era, and he stepped in for Garcia a few times.
Not Rattay.
Rattay. I think we had drafted Tim Rattay in that same draft. Is what it was.
Yeah.
Yeah. Tim Rattay kind of had strong arm, but he didn't really do much else. I think he looked good on one game that we had against the Pittsburgh Steelers or something like that. Yeah. So Worowski says Brady wants to be a Niner because he wants to win another Super Bowl. He's no dummy. Hey, why not? Yeah, he says true. Watch the documentary. Steve talks about it. Oh, the local showcase. Yeah, the local showcase. Yep, that's what they do. They do that. But the local showcase, I thought they do those after the drafts though. When they feature like undrafted rookies and they bring them in. Oh no. But in general, yeah. I think they also do showcases of players that are possible draft picks as well before the draft. I think that's what they're talking about with local players. Yeah, it's gonna be interesting. Tristan Wirfs is not playing, so if Bosa plays and Tristan Wirfs doesn't play, that's gonna be huge for guys like Bosa, obviously, Drake Jackson, Samson Miyubukam, Charles Omenihu. Who I want to touch on I've seen a lot of praise from him from certain people on Twitter and certain people who follow the Niners closely, and they examine film. And not that I think he's a bad player, but I just necessarily haven't seen this amazing impact that they're speaking of on Omenihu. I don't know. Have you caught it at all? I don't know if you have access to all 22s or not, because I don't.
Yeah, I do. And Omenihu's been good. It's not flashy, right? But consistently, he's pressuring the quarterback. He's in the vicinity. He's disrupting the quarterback. He also makes plays in the run game. So Omenihu's been good. No, absolutely. Like after Bosa, I think there's an argument Omenahu's been the next best edge guy, along with, Ebukam and Drake Jackson's made some splash plays. Like he batted a ball he's batted a
Is
couple
it true
balls
that
this
Drake
year.
Jackson's leading the NFL in batted down passes? I didn't see it in writing, but that's what I've been hearing. That's what I've been hearing.
Really?
Yeah,
I've seen him bat a few balls, but
Mhm.
it's like it doesn't make me think that doesn't feel like he plays enough snaps to even like qualify. You'd figure, a D lineman who plays 60-70% of the snaps would be in the running for something like that. Whereas really Drake Jackson's played this rotational role. Yeah, he does rotate and place him on the inside. Like he's kind of doing that Arden Key role from last year. Obviously, Key went to Jacksonville, and I ain't heard from him since. Hope you're doing all right, Arden Key. But Drake Jackson's been filling that hybrid outside interior rusher role, and I thought he's looked good.
I like Drake Jackson a lot. I was just hoping for a bigger impact, more so as a speed rusher on the outside. I was getting a little maybe too homerish about the pick or too excited about the pick, thinking that we could get that D Ford type impact on the outside, or maybe get something similar to what Alvin Smith did
If
his rookie
Bosa's
year.
out tomorrow, it might be his day to shine.
Yeah, I hope so. If Bosa steps out, I mean, Drake Jackson, if you're watching, time for you to step up, boy. Actually, this was a lofty prediction. It was one of the few lofty predictions I have because I'm not big on making huge predictions or bold predictions, but just from what I saw in the preseason and all the stuff I heard, I was thinking Drake Jackson could possibly get 10 sacks for the season. Now, keep in mind, if you look at his snaps and look at his reps, he hasn't really been on the field all that much, but he has made the most of his opportunities, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And let's go ahead. Ted Talks Ball says Drake Batson. I think Red Eye made a good point. He says rain tapers off around 1 o'clock p.m. PST. Yeah, from what I was reading in the forecast, at least according to weather.com, it doesn't look like it's going to be raining during the game. The field will probably be wet. I don't know if they're going to have a good way to manage it and dry it up. So we'll definitely see how that plays out. I don't expect a heavy downpour, but just for those of you who don't live in the Bay Area, don't live in Northern California Bay Area right now, at least where I live, and from what I'm hearing from my friends in the Bay Area, all day today and yesterday, it's been a pretty heavy rainstorm. I mean, the type of rainstorm where you open up your window and it just pours down so hard, like the last thing on your mind is you want to get behind the wheel or drive or anything like that. So we'll see how it plays out tomorrow. And for those of you driving to the game and leaving the game, if it does rain, just be safe. No need to rush it. So we got David McNew in the house. He says, "What's up, Bashar and Bay Area Baller? What's new, David McNew? Good to have you. If you guys have any questions, feel free to drop them. We're probably gonna wrap up pretty soon. Unless is there anything in particular that you wanted to cover? Because I think I'm looking at my notes. I'm pretty much hit on everything that we were gonna pretty much cover today. If there's any little nugget that you want to point out that I haven't brought up, go ahead.
Yeah, well, one of my keys to the game is just identifying the blitz, right? Last week, we know the Dolphins blitzed the hell out of Purdy, or they showed blitz tonight. They showed blitz quite often. And Todd Bowles, I expect more of the same. But it's like the offensive line, whether it's Brendel making the calls, right? We need to identify the blitz and pick it up. Because anytime you're having a bunch of free rushers running at you, it's a disaster waiting to happen, to be honest. So let's limit the pressure so that way Purdy, can make the throws. And the thing about Purdy's a gunslinger, right? The interception, he threw it down the sideline. He was giving Ayuk a shot, and that's just Purdy's mentality. We saw the touchdown pass to McCaffrey, right? The little short one, McCaffrey into the flat. It was a really good route by McCaffrey settling into that zone. But the play before that, McCaffrey ran a Texas route, and Purdy zipped it in between three guys, and McCaffrey ended up dropping it. It was probably hard to see with all those bodies around him, but Purdy just zipped it in. Purdy's a gunslinger. So, he's going to make some plays. I was impressed. I didn't know he could throw on the run this well. He made a couple plays throwing on the run.
I liked his mobility a lot at Iowa State. Iowa State.
Yeah.
His mobility is really good.
Yeah. One year he ran for like 9 touchdowns. at Iowa State. So he's a threat. Like he's not some elite athlete, but you got to respect it because we saw him make a guy miss in the backfield, buy him some extra time. That way he can make a throw. But Purdy's got some gunslinger mentality, and he will give his receivers a chance to make a play.
Red Eye brings up a good point. There was that 50-50 ball that Purdy threw up for Ayuk. I didn't like it when he tossed it up there because Xavier Howard was pretty much step for step with him. But, hey, at least he gave it a shot. He tried. But, hey, we were lucky because, he was tackled right away. It was like a punt on that play. Pretty much was, tackle the 20-yard line. It didn't, as a team, it didn't really, really hurt us, to be honest with you. Kittle and Purdy are Iowa duos. Yeah, well, one played for Iowa and one played for Iowa State. So I think they were probably rivals. But actually, Purdy's from Arizona. He went to high school out there, but he did go play for Iowa State. And Worowski says fourth down pass. Dolphins were better off betting it down. Yeah, exactly on that play. They were better off betting it down. You know what? I want to bring this up because you brought up the pass rush. Do you know if Spencer Burford is going to play tomorrow? Because I know we didn't see him last week, and then we saw Brunskill instead.
I don't know. I know he was practicing on either he was a full go in practice or a limit. I know he was practicing in some capacity. What I can tell you, Bashar, is earlier today I looked up, I was just scrolling on PFF and seeing what they were thinking about, the 49ers players. And I looked at the right guard position, and so far they've graded Daniel Brunskill with a pretty good grade at like 66, I believe it was. And Burford, I was surprised to see, because you hear Burford, this statistic that Burford hasn't given up any sacks, but it's like PFF has graded him at like a 50. So PFF says he's bad and that Brunskill's been pretty good, but it's like watching the tape, I don't really see that. I feel like Burford's been pretty good just from, I've seen he might blow like an assignment occasionally, but it's like not every game.
I wanted to show this to you guys because we were just talking about this and I was just surfing through Twitter. So I saw your post on Twitter about the comparison between Burford and Brunskill in the pass game. And this was somebody else posted this was Coach Yak, who I follow on Twitter. Check him out at Coach_Yak. Yeah. He brings up a lot of good points. He says, out of the people who were drafted in the 22 O-line draft 2022 O-line draft class, their pass block efficiency rankings. I'm not sure who put this together, if it was PFF or somebody else, but they have Burford at the top of the list at 97.9 in comparison to the guys who were drafted. Minimum 200 blocking snaps. So I don't know what rating system does what, but we look at certain grades and then we watch the games and we try to equate if those numbers match up with the gameplay that we're watching. I think that's the best way to do it. And you could always take from multiple sources as well and come up with your own judgment. That's how I look at it.
Absolutely. You said it there. Making your own judgment, I think, is number one. I use PFF just kind of as an extra reference, an extra opinion, because sometimes it does correlate. I've said this before, but like, Mike McGlinchey, his pass blocking grade is usually like below average, and we see it. He struggles out there, blocking and pass protection, but his run blocking is usually pretty good. This year, you might be able to make arguments say, he's kind of tapered off a little bit, but he's usually pretty good in the run game, and that shows on PFF's run game where he's got a really good grade. So that, to me, that's where sometimes it does make sense. But in Burford's case, I will say that one you pulled up was pass pro. They like him better in pass pro. It's actually his run blocking they have like really low, like in the 40s.
Yeah, I was going to say about McGlinchey. I remember his run blocking at one point was not his pass blocking, his run blocking.
Yeah,
used to be at like the top of the league.
Yeah,
in terms of like almost every offensive lineman in the league, they'd have like the number one or number two best run blocker. And this year, I haven't seen that elite run blocking from McGlinchey at all. I mean, I've seen him make mistakes in the run game, and it just, I don't know. And you know what? Maybe the reason why he's having such a lackluster season. Possibly. I mean, I'm not a doctor. I don't talk to the guy. I don't know his body, but he is coming off of that, a torn quadricep or something like that. He's coming off a major injury. So not that he was a world beater before the injury or anything like that, but he's struggling this year. We see it. And I'd be surprised if we retain him or if we don't upgrade from that position. I'd be surprised. We'll see.
Yeah, it's one of those. He's going to be a free agent. Yeah, I don't want to overpay for Mike McGlinchey.
No,
If we could get him back, and I know I might get killed for this, not killed, but I just know a lot of Niners fans who aren't the biggest fan of the right tackle. But in my opinion, if we can get him back at like a hometown discount, maybe, or like a respectable offer, I'm not overpaying for Mike. But if it was a relatively cheap deal, or I'd consider it.
I'd only consider a cheap deal if we were looking to say, hey, let's bring in some other guys and have them battle it out and see who comes out on top. Because I'm sorry, I don't think McGlinchey's good enough right now at this stage of his career to say, hey, let's pencil him in. I know you want continuity on the offensive line. I get that. But I just think McGlinchey's at the stage of his career where it's like, why not? Why not try to upgrade and do better at that position? Even if you do possibly.
No, you're right. You're right, Bashar. You just convinced me. That was a great argument. Why not improve there? Because it's like we know he's not elite, especially in pass blocking. So you know what? While I'm like, okay, let's bring him back at like a relatively cheap deal. Why not upgrade it? I like your mentality, Bashar.
I've been really bad at muting. I'm muting myself today. Just had a drink of water. But yeah, I mean, hey, why isn't the 49ers front office give me a job? Hey, why not? David McNew says PFF also says McGlinchey is better than Burford. I don't use PFF for anything. Burford has given up 1 sack. McGlinchey is being the 9th pick overall. Gets a bust rating for me. That's been the consensus for a lot of Niner fans. I was one of the few Niner fans that actually defended McGlinchey a lot during his career, primarily because I loved what I saw, what he did with the run game, and the run game took us really far in 2019. It took us all the way to the Super Bowl, if you ask me. And many make the argument, like this guy right here, John Lynch, that we should have kept running the ball in the Super Bowl. That would have been nice. Who knows? We probably would have had a different result. We probably would have came out on top. But hindsight's 2020, so we don't know for sure. But it just sucks that we didn't get to see that. So it is what it is. Let's talk about some score predictions. If you guys want to drop your score predictions in the chat, go ahead. Feel free to. I'll bring them up on the screen. And I don't know. I have last week's score prediction was 28-17, and something's telling me just stick with it. Just leave it the same score prediction and go from there. So I'm just going to stick with it, make it 28-17. And what do you have there, Baller?
I'm gonna go. I think it's gonna be a little more defensive than that. I'm thinking, 23-17 Niners.
Okay, so you're saying a little bit less offense. Okay, let me ask you this: Who do you think scores our first touchdown?
Excuse me.
Who do you think scores our first touchdown?
Who scores our first touchdown? McCaffrey.
CMC. That's what I was thinking too. Say we run it with him. Somehow he runs his way into the end zone. That'd be nice. You know what's funny? You mentioned earlier. I wanted to bring this up while you were talking about McCaffrey, the way he finds holes and what he could have done better. Even on that play where he ran out, it was like an inside zone type run, I think, and he bounced it out a little to outside and had that lane, and then ran for more yards. And who was it? The backup tight end, was it Charlie Warner, the backup tight end, was looking to block somebody, and had he been closer to the safety, had he blocked the safety, there probably would have been a touchdown. But when I saw that play, if you saw where you probably noticed this too on the replay, it's like McCaffrey bounces it to the left, and then you see where Charlie Warner is, like towards the middle of the field, looking to block somebody. I swear, if McCaffrey just cut it a little inside and dipped and just went straight in between the hash marks on that play, nobody was there. And again, we're not out there running the ball. We're not out there with the helmets on, and these things, you have to make quick decisions on the fly. But I bet you CMC was watching that on film. Was like, I could have taken that to the distance.
That was one of the plays he was talking about.
He did talk about that, huh?
Like when Forrester he told Forrester, hey, I left some meat on the bone. There were some yards out there that I missed. I missed a whole. That was probably one of the plays he was talking about.
Probably. TED Talks Ball says, great show. Hit the like and subscribe. Appreciate it. Red Eye says 19-16. Both teams scored a touchdown. The rest are field goals. Robbie Gold with the walk-off field. Honestly, I used to criticize Robbie Gold maybe sometime before last season. Maybe in 2020 I did, but I don't care how old that guy is. I don't care about his limited range.
He's
this
money.
guy was super
Robbie's
clutch.
money, man.
He
50
was
yards
super clutch against the Dolphins.
He's not going to hit you a 56, 57 yarder. He ain't going to do it. But hey, 50 and in, 52 and in. If you're hitting those at a high clip, and knock on wood, he's been relatively money, from 40 yards and in. Once in a blue moon, one will go awry. But Robbie's been really good.
Now, we obviously want to see the touchdowns, but there are points and times in games where, hey, why not just get the points while you can? 3 points won't hurt. And it worked to our favor against the Dolphins. So that was great to see. Yeah, that 48-yard, that goal hit. For a split second, I was kind of nervous, but then part of me was like, you know what? He has this. And boom, it went straight through the uprights. So really appreciate everybody in the chat. It was a last-minute show. We actually had to do 2 streams. The first stream was only for like a minute, and I realized there was no live chat because I'd selected a certain thing on the setup for the show that was wrong, and that eliminated the live chat. So we started a whole new one from scratch. Really appreciate you guys. Joey Jenkins says Robbie Gould put up 18 fantasy points last week. Okay, you probably had him on your fantasy team, huh? Thank you to everybody in the chat, though. You guys helped the show a lot. I could never do a show with no chat. So the moment I saw there was no chat on the stream, I was like, Barry, your baller, bro. We got to start this stream over, man. Please, can we do this? And he gave me the blessing, and we just started a whole new one, man. So it's been a lot of fun. Appreciate you guys. Barry Baller, let them know where people can find you, and if you have anything new and anything fresh going on. I know you do a lot of collabs, and let everybody know what that's all about.
No doubt. Subscribe to my channel, Bay Area Baller 18, same as my Twitter handle. Follow me there. I'll put out some film. Most often I'm talking 49ers. Occasionally I'll sprinkle in some Warriors. And yeah, tune in because I love talking ball, and I love talking to – we got such a good, community. The 49er community is so strong and so deep that it's fun talking ball.
What's that Bay Area thing that you have? It's something to the Bay, or the collab you do with Kelso? What's it called?
Yeah, straight out of the Bay.
Straight out of the Bay, yeah.
Rich Kelts, Jay in the Bay, Amin the Dream. We do a show every Monday. It rotates on our channels, so you got to subscribe to all 4 of us so you don't miss a Monday episode. That starts usually right after Monday Night Football, 8:15 Pacific. We're having a blast doing that. Those guys really know their stuff, and we're having fun straight out of the Bay Monday nights.
That's true. So most likely to see a post-game show from me tomorrow. I don't know exactly what time and what hour, because I'm not sure what time I'll be home to do things. Sometimes things happen after the games where I'm not able to do a post-game show until like 4 hours later. So all that's up in the air. But if you follow me on Twitter, you'll get an idea when I'm going to be going live. And you can always hit the bell notification if you're subscribed. First subscribe, hit the bell notification, because that bell notification will pop up on your YouTube app, on your phone, or on your laptop, wherever you're watching. And it will tell you, hey, 49er Mind is live. We got Mariah here. What's up, Mariah? How you doing? 49er Faithfully. So we're going to wrap this up, guys. Hopefully we beat Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Hopefully we beat Tom Brady. Hey, get another win for Brock Purdy. Why not? Let's do it. Thank you guys for watching 49er Minded, where we get into the minds of 49er fans. Keep repping those 49ers and stay 49er minded. And this is Eric's favorite theme song, by the way. It's coming up right
I love this one.
Come on, 49er faithful, let's get it.
Because it's 49er mind.
We gotta do this one time for the Empire.
It's 49er mind. It's 49er mind.
We gotta get that brick by brick done quick.
49er mind.
Yeah, area. Yo, we can't listen to them haters, man.
49er mind.
We from the Bay.
49er mind.
We them San Francisco 49ers.
49er mind.
We got that red and gold blood inside us.
49er mind.